Hey guys, Bill here with Rome Made Simple, and today we're going to talk hypersonics. So for those of you who don't know what a hypersonic weapon is, let me give you a quick rundown real quick. For the past 5 to 10 years, there's been a new type of missile hitting the scene, and it's called a hypersonic missile. These are missiles that are able to go between speeds of Mach 5 and Mach 25 in some cases, and are capable of conducting high-speed maneuvers while being at that speed. The claim that's being made is that these things are essentially uninterceptable and are able to go ahead and deliver same payloads as something like our Tomahawks while also going much faster and not being able to be shot down. This has got a lot of militaries really excited around the world, and a lot of people are very excited to have this sort of weapon system to counter defense systems like US destroyers that protect carrier groups, in that case specifically China. So what specifically about this weapon is so unique is that maneuverability portion I mentioned, because we have had weapons capable of going faster than Mach 5 for a very long time. Our ICBMs, those are being intercontinental ballistic missiles. Those are what we use to fire nukes back and forth from those big silos. We've been able to use those speeds for quite a while on those weapons, but we're not able to maneuver them. So they're very predictable with their path, and therefore they're very easy to intercept if you have the right systems. Hypersonics, not so much. And that's what a lot of people are excited about. The three nations that have hypersonics right now confirmed is the United States of America, with the Mako missile series being the newest and the one that's gotten the most media attention. The Russians have their Kinzhal missile, which has been getting a lot of attention in the Ukraine war. And finally, the Chinese have their DF series, their carrier killer missiles, which they've put on the front page of everything they can to show, hey, we have the ability to take out a US carrier with this thing. America, you should think twice about going anywhere near our waters. So the world militaries are already starting to flex their might with these weapon systems. The question is, are they actually all they're talked up to be, or are they just hot air? A little bit of both. When they are in their launch phase, they do reach those speeds of Mach 5 to 25. And when they're in that, they can maneuver and avoid those incoming missile strikes that try and take them out, or avoid areas where there are anti-air batteries set up to take out these missiles. However, there's a couple problems. First off, when you're going that fast, the air in front of the missile physically turns to plasma. It gets so hot. This is called plasma sheathing, and it actually makes the missile unable to see anything in front of it. So it doesn't have any sensors on the nose or anywhere in the missile that is able to go ahead and direct it. There are some internal stabilizing systems and some computer systems, but it's like pre-programmed stuff. It's not active with the essentially the outside environment, because it's just simply too hot with that plasma sheath. Additionally, there were some claims that this plasma sheath would actually make the missiles stealth. That's been proven not to be the case. If anything, they stand out like a sore thumb, because you have something that goes up to 4,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That's how hot this thing can get, ripping through the sky like a meteor. It's very, very hard to miss on satellite, radar, pretty much any systems that you have. The last thing is, yeah, you cannot intercept it while it's going that fast, but when it gets to its target point, it drops down into the Mach 2 and 3 zone, which is interceptable. So it's basically going up, getting to that very high speed, spending the majority of that next middle segment in that Mach 5 to Mach 25 zone, and then when it starts going back down, that's when it drops into conventional missile speed. So you're basically making a super fancy way of avoiding stuff in that middle stage. And that does help to a degree, because that is usually the stage where the intercontinental ballistic missiles, or ICBMs, would be intercepted. So why is everyone making a big deal out of these systems? Well, China's making a big deal because it's pretty much the only thing that they have in their pocket that can counter a US carrier right now. And they very much can counter US carriers. It's just that there's a couple other issues with the Chinese variants, and we're not going to talk about that in this video. The Russian Kinzhal system, the Kinzhal missile, has been used in Ukraine, and this exact issue has been shown, as the Patriot missile batteries have been able to intercept a few of them during that slowdown phase, the targeting phase. Lastly, the American Mako missile, we haven't used in combat yet. We're expecting it to be in the field sometime this year, if not early next year. And everything's going to carry this. Unlike the Russians and the Chinese, which are specific systems that are able to launch these things, not so much. for the American systems. We can put them on B-52 bombers, we can put them on our B-2 bombers, we can put them on even the F-22 and the F-35. Heck, we can put them on the P-8 Poseidon, one of those few planes that gets almost no media attention, but is a beautiful asset in our fleet. So there is a lot of things that we can strap these onto, so it's a very versatile weapon in that sense. The other reason the Americans are spending a lot of time and effort on these is because there's really no way for anybody who we fight right now to counter them, especially terror-based organizations, and they're very potent weapons in that regard because they get there very quickly and they get from point A to point B, hit the target, kind of the same deal. However, there's another big catch. So you have pretty much the same issues as a regular missile. You have the same interception capabilities, just for a smaller window. You don't have the mid-stage to intercept them, but they're also really expensive. When the United States Pentagon comes out and says that these weapons are too expensive, an organization that basically has access to an infinite money press, being the US government, saying that these weapons are too expensive, you know it's bad. The Pentagon usually spends around $5 million per cruise missile, roughly. They're estimating that per missile, it's going to be over $10 million. A lot of money. And this means that a lot of nations that do not have economies to back them up are just not going to be able to use these missiles because it's not economic for a variety of reasons. So that's kind of my 2 cents on the hypersonic weapons. They're really unique weapon systems that are kind of making a big splash, but the technology is not far enough where they're going to be realistic to use in combat on a large scale, other than propaganda and kind of terror tools, for lack of a better term. And not in the terrorist sense, but more in the sense of, hey, we have these big scary weapons, be afraid of us. All right, so my next video that I'm going to be doing is going to be Wednesday, but I did want to give you guys a heads up. I have a really big video kind of in the works right now. It's going to take me a little bit longer than my normal videos, but it will be out hopefully sometime next week. And that is going to be on the topic of America and China in a potential war scenario in the Pacific. To go play by play, talk about different phases of that war. Because one of the things I've seen in a lot of my comments is America's better, no, China's better. And I've also heard a lot from people around me. So we're going to go check that out step by step and see what a scenario would look like and what the results would be too. Alrighty guys, that's all you got for me today. See you later.